Hey guys, so today we're going to take a look at a problem called valid anagram, and the problem statement is that we've been provided with two strings, and we are asked to find if the two strings have the same number of letters or the same characters, right? So for example, here we have anagram, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce this, but uh, the problem statement is such that we need to find if both these strings have the same characters with the same frequency, right? So for example, here we have A, and we have two A's. I'm sorry, three A's in the first string, and in the second string we have three A as well. And in the first string we have one N, and in the second string we have one N, and we have one G here, and we have one G here. So our problem statement is such that we need to figure out if both these strings are equal in terms of the number of characters and the frequency of each characters, right? So we're going to solve this problem, and the way that we're going to solve this problem is that uh, let me go to the blackboard. So we have the string, right? So I'm going to copy this. You know what? I'm just going to type it out. So gram, right? Yeah. So what we're going to do first is that we're going to convert the string into a character array, and then we're going to iterate through the character array. And we are going to set up a hash map such that the key of the hash map will be a character. So for example, it will be A. The first character will be we're going to set up a hash map where the key will be the characters and the value of the hash map will be the frequency of the character. So for example, here we will be iterating from here, and when we find A, we will check if A is already in the hash map or not. If it's not in the hash map, we are going to set this put the value in the hash map and set the value to 1. And then we're going to go over to the next character. We check if N is already in the hash map. If N is not there, we're just going to put N and then set the value to 1. And then we are at A. So we're going to check if A is already in the hash map, and we do already have A in the hash map. So we are just going to increment the value that A already has plus 1, right? So we already have 1, so we're going to add plus 1 to it, and then we get 2. And then we're going to go over to the next character. We have G, and then we're going to set G's initial value to 1, and then we have R, right? So R initial value is going to be 1, and then we have A again, and then so we're going to again increment the value from 2 to 3. So you kind of get the idea, right? So we'll iterate through each one, and if you already have that, we'll increment, or else we'll put as 1 for the value. So once we're done with the first character, we are going to bring in the second character, right? So what's the second character? NAG RAM. So NAGARAM. So at this point, what we're going to do is that we're going to change this to a character array as well, and then we're going to start iterating from the first character. And what we're going to do is that we're going to check if the character is in the hash map. And if it's not in the hash map, then it would mean that the strings are not same, so we can return false at this point. But if it is in the hash map, we need to decrement the value from 1 to 0. So basically subtracting it by -1, right? And then we're going to go to the next character. We'll need to check if this character in the hash map. If it is in the hash map, we'll need to decrement its value by 1. So if you do a -1, so 3 minus 1 is 2. So we're going to decrement this by 2. And then we're going to go over to G. We're going to check if it is in the hash map. If it is, we're going to decrement its value by -1. We will get 0. So likewise, we would do the same for every character, right? So we have A again. So we have 2 at this point. So we'll decrement 2 by -1, and we have 1. And then we are going to go over to the next character R, so we'll decrement this by -1. We then get 0, and then we're going to go to the next character A. We check if A is there. We do. We're going to get the value 1. We're going to decrement it by -1, and then we get 0. And then the final character is M. So we're going to decrement it by -1. We get 0. So we've updated the hash map. And at the end, we're going to do an iteration throughout the entire hash map. And what we're going to do is we're going to check if every value in this hash map is zero. If it is not zero, then that would mean that the second character array that we iterated through has an additional character, right? So that's kind of the whole point of solving this problem. So now we're going to code this out in Java. So initially we're going to check for a few base cases. So we are going to check if the length of the strings are same. If it is not same, I'm sorry. So do dot length. If it is not same, then there's no point in checking if it's an anagram, right? So the characters are not same. So we can just go ahead and return false here. Next, what we need to do is we need to declare a hash map here. So key will be a character, the value will be the frequency, which is an integer. Declare frequency and then equal to hash map, and then so the next thing that we need to do is we need to declare two character arrays, right? So array 1 would be from the first string that we get, so, and then character array 2 would be the second string that we get, so oops, character array, yep. So we got all the data that we need to get, and we can start iterating at this point. So we're gonna iterate through the first character array. So int I 0 then arr1 dot length I plus plus, right? So oops. And then what we need to do, we need to check if the frequency map has this key, right? Meaning if the map already has the character, so we need to check for that. If it does have the character, we need to get the value for it. So you know what? I'm gonna directly put frequency dot put of array of I, and then what we're gonna do is frequency dot get arr of I, and then we're just gonna do a +1 at this point. So this will get the existing value of the character, existing frequency of the character in the hash map, and then we're just going to increment them by 1. That's all we're doing here. So if the map does not have the character in it, what we need to do is we need to put it, but the only difference is we're not going to increment it, we're going to set the value to 1 because this is the first time that we're encountering it. So that is for the first character array. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to iterate array2. So I'm going to paste it here. So if the map already has the character in it, we need to decrement its value by 1. So we need to do a -1 at this point. And if it does not have the character in it, remember we talked about, then that would mean that the second string has a character that's not in the first string, right? So we can go ahead and return false here. Yeah. So the last thing that we need to do is we need to iterate through the hash map and we need to check if every value that a character has is 0, right? If not, then that would mean that there are additional characters from the first string S. So to iterate through a hash map, we have a special method. So map.entry, and then we need to provide character integer. I think it's entry here, and then frequency dot entry set. That should be the for loop right there. So yeah, so we need to get the value. So integer value equal to entry dot get value, and then we need to check if the value is anything other than a zero. If it is anything other than zero, we need to return false. Or else, once we're done with the iteration, we can return true. So that is it. So I'm gonna run and see if there's any compiler errors. So yeah, we do have a compiler error. Oops. I'll need to put in array1 here. So silly mistakes, I guess. Yeah. So let's run it again. Oh, contains, my bad. Oh, another error. It's supposed to have array2 here. Yep. So the test cases are passed. Let's submit and see if every test case is passed. So, yep. So that is it, guys. That's for today. See you again tomorrow with another problem.